jobs created equal, Kevin. I mean, I was hoping to see maybe kind of flat in food services, drinking places, healthcare, and social assistance, and we start seeing some good growth in retail and steel, aluminum, the data center, utilities. It's actually the opposite. Now, where is the reshoring? Where is it happening?
Well, I mean, it's reshoring is happening with we've got data on groundbreaking. Since September, there have been, I think we're at 35 now, big factories that the president has negotiated with foreign companies and domestic companies that have groundbreaking. And the capital spending is looking really good. The orders and shipments of non-defense capital goods, you know, that we used to call it the M3 data back in the old days, that's very strong. And so again, everything is looking like the economy is ramping up at a really, really high rate. And I think that's one reason why markets are so pleased over this year with the progress that President Trump's policies have made. I was in the Oval last night talking with the president, and I was there with the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, and he asked us both to guesstimate what GDP growth would be this year if he hadn't changed any policies. And we both agreed that it would be kind of in the ones. And so I think all these things that we've done have really, really, really put, I guess, a shot in the arm to the economy.
Well, I was interesting you gave a nod, of course, to Bill Clinton in the 90s. I guess he was doing something right. First time I always like to hear when the Democrats are praised by the Republicans. That's a good call by you. One thing I'm really struggling with, okay, which is that if I hear these 7%, I know we got productivity gain. I'm trying to figure out whether we should take rates to 4.5, 5, maybe 5 3/4. I don't know. You're more likely, according to Kalshi, than I am to be. You're in the Oval too. You was in the Oval, David. It's an Oval. But I mean, what do we do here with the higher rate scenario that I think most conventional Fed chiefs might be looking at when you have 7% GDP?
Right. Well, the way to think about it, and sorry to be the pedantic Stanford professor that I often end up being on TV.
Well, I'm a hack Harvard guy, so go ahead.
Yeah, I know. So the point is that if you have a village with one apple tree, and then all of a sudden they plant another apple tree, then the price of apples in the village goes down. And so when you have increase in supply, you can have growth, right? The GDP of that town doubled because they have 2 apple trees, but you don't have inflation. And that's what could happen. That happened in the 90s. You go back and look because computers all of a sudden were modernizing and increasing productivity, every business. Then you saw quarters of 6, 7% growth without inflation. And it was really the brilliance of Alan Greenspan that you could have high growth without inflation when you get a really big positive productivity shock. And I think that we've got that happy thing happening right now. And so therefore you can have high growth without inflation. Of course, it'll be really, really important for people at the Fed to monitor it and make sure that that story holds. But we're seeing it in the data for sure that we've got really, really high growth and we don't have accelerating inflation.
Kevin, it's David. You know, you mentioned, of course, some of the key policies, of the administration. One has been tariffs. You mentioned, of course, a trade deficit that we haven't seen this low since 2009. That may well get reversed, in fact, even hours from now. We don't know how the Supreme Court is going to rule, but I am curious as to how the administration is thinking about it. Should that come as a reversal of their authority under IEPA, and what you would do, or the administration would do, to continue those policies?
Right. Well, you know, certainly there's a high level of confidence that the Supreme Court's going to side with us. We think that we're really on firm ground. But I know you expect us to say that. And so then the question is, well, what if we're wrong about that? And it's important to think about that, too. There was a big call last night with all the principals to talk about if the Supreme Court were to rule against this IEPA tariff, what would the next step be? And Jamieson Greer is all over it. There are a lot of other legal authorities that can reproduce the deals that we've made with other countries and can do so basically immediately. And so our expectation is that we're going to win. And if we don't win, then we know that we've got other tools that we can use that get us to the same place. And, you know, I think that the IEPA authority is pretty clear. It's why it's the first choice of how to use it. But if the courts disagree, we'll, of course, respect that. But we got lots of other authorities that we could use to get to the same place.
OK, I'd assume we'll get some articulation of that should it go against you.